Disney DAS, or Disability Access Service, details and facts as of May 20th, 2024. Hi, St. Hooch here. If we haven't met, I'm a former Walt Disney World and Disneyland Paris cast member. If you like this type of content, please give me a follow and a like. It's greatly appreciated. Also, be sure to leave your comment below because I want to know how you feel about these new changes to the DAS. As we all know, we've heard what it could be. Are they going to be lenient? Are they going to be strict? What is all of this going to mean? Well, I can tell you firsthand, as of today, myself, and I explained to them I had a kidney transplant and that I am going to Disney World because I know there are different ways you can get around the park to limit your exposure to people. I mentioned stretching room, I'll just say the box at Guardians of the Galaxy. Those all can be problematic, even though I'm wearing a mask. I did explain possible it may fully wake up one day, and it's possible it won't. So I do have an ECV, and they said that would be their best. And I believe they had another name for it, like the attraction replacement, something rather. Number one, do not, no matter how frustrated you may be with this, do not take it out on the cast member that you're speaking to. Okay? So, with that being said, the options they gave me, a family member who can wait the remainder of the queue for me, and then once it gets to load, then we can switch out to ride by switching or rejoining your party. Another accommodation that they offered, as much as this gives me a stomach ache, and as much as I don't agree with the representative we spoke with, but she was fantastic, they did recommend that the Genie Plus, and I feel that charging people, if they gave it complimentary, you admit that I need it for an accommodation for my medical condition, but you want to charge me money for it. Can you provide it? Here are your options. Option A is the return to queue. Option B is to get the My Genie experience, or you know what I'm talking about. So then at the end of the conversation, I said, well, so will this be in my Disney Experience app? Because when you're waiting in the queue, it says that they will take your picture, whatever. I made the assumption that they will take your picture and notate your account no matter what the decision that was made. This next part is extremely telling on how non-prepared Disney is for this. The representative told me that I can ask for an accommodation at each individual attraction, that there is no universal decision on how to handle each person. And if they decide to just give you a wait time to come back, they will issue you a piece of paper with a handwritten note and a time to come back. All this money spent on My Disney Experience, it's already set up to handle the DAS. And they're going back to paper and pencil, and there is no continuity between attractions. You will have to negotiate your accommodations from attraction to attraction. If you have additional questions about my personal experience, definitely leave them in the comments below or tag this video. Next, we did go through the process again for my daughter. I know that there really isn't like a spectrum anymore as they used to speak about in the 90s. And 80s and such. However, she would be considered on the spectrum with sensory processing disorder. I'm not going to get into detail, but in explanation of her needs, they approved her. I'm not going to get into what the answers were or the questions they asked, because I'm not here to help people get the pass. Answer the questions honestly, and they will provide the accommodation that they feel is necessary for you. That's why I'm not going to tell you what our answers were, because in the event there's someone out there watching this that doesn't have these challenges or need these accommodations, I don't want that I don't want to allow that to get out and people say, St. Hooch is telling people how to get the DAS. No, that's not happening. It will not happen. One thing I will say about the experience of going through it with my daughter is that they are not very lenient. Go read the rules. An example is they said that the program or the service is for the person who qualifies for the DAS or the DOS, depending on which coast. By the way, this was for Walt Disney World. I'm not speaking on Disneyland's behalf because we're not going to Disneyland and I don't know the process for that. But going back, it's for the person who qualifies for the DAS. Then it is for 3 additional family members, okay? We gave them a certain scenario that if they would make an exception for a 5th or a 4th person in addition to the DAS recipient. They said no, they do not make exceptions. However, if you ask for an exception, one of 2 things is going to happen. They'll either identify that your situation does qualify for an exception request. They put us on hold and they spoke to someone in leadership to see if that was a situation where an extra accommodation could be made. In our case, they did make an exception. The other option, number 2, is, I'm sorry, however, we cannot afford you an exception at this time. That just means that however that person's feeling based on the information, facts, and training that they have, that it's in their best interest to say no. I will also say that you can see that this is still a very new thing. In my opinion, I feel Disney rushed it out way too fast. While speaking to the representative, every once in a while she would look up. I don't know if someone was standing there like she was in training still. But as I would ask questions, and some of them were a little deep, she would look up and kind of pause for a second, and then she would continue on with the answer. Not a bad thing, because we want to make sure that those cast members are trained effectively and efficiently. So tell me, what do you think about this experience? This is my firsthand experience, not only for myself, but for my daughter. Let me know in the comments if you have questions, and make sure to like and follow me. And until next time, hooch on!